In this video, we will show how to troubleshoot if you have the symptoms of no image or a blank screen, but you can see an image on the screen with a flashlight and you do have audio. This video applies to the power supply part number BN44-00554B and panel number CY-DE320AGEV2V. This video also applies to the model number and TV model number UN32EH4003FXZA. LEDs are panel specific, so you must match the panel sticker number to be sure you have the correct replacement LEDs. In this video, the test that we are showing is checking the voltages. Testing the voltages will help to determine if the backlighting problem is being caused by the power supply / LED board or the actual LEDs themselves. If you have not run the flashlight / backlight test, please click the link in the video to the flashlight test. If there is not a link to click, please go to our channel and find the flashlight test video. After running the flashlight test, if you determine that you do have an image on the screen while using a flashlight and you have audio but no backlights, continue this troubleshooting video. In order to continue troubleshooting, you will need to have the skills, experience, and tools necessary to check voltages on the power supply / LED board. It is necessary that you take the proper precautions to protect yourself, as checking voltages can be dangerous on a TV that is powered on. I have begun by removing the screws and the back cover off my TV. We will be running the test on the power supply / LED board here on the panel. We have highlighted this board in the video. As we take a closer look at the power supply / LED board, here is the cable connection that runs from the power supply to the LEDs. I will be checking the voltages at this connection. This TV shows 2 test points for checking the voltages going to the LEDs. We will test 1 and 5 together, and then 2 and 4 together. Our negative lead will go into the negative side, and the positive lead into the positive side. Before I begin testing the points, I will plug in my TV, and either on the keypad controller or using the remote, I will power on the TV. I will start by testing points 1 and 5. I get a measurement of about 67 volts, which is good. Next, I will check points 2 and 4. Once again, I get a measurement of about 67 volts, which is good. This shows that everything should be working properly on the power supply and LEDs. Before I begin testing the points, I will plug in my TV, and either on the keypad controller or using the remote, I will power on the TV. If the voltages were at 0 or lower than our normal numbers, that would show that there could be a problem with the power supply board. As you can see, I get measurements close to 0 for both sets of test points. I would want to first unplug the TV and then disconnect the LED cable and retest the points. When testing these points again, I will not use my negative lead in the one side of the connection. Instead, I will ground it on the panel. I will use my positive test lead on the positive side to test the 2 points one at a time. When I test the first point, I get a reading close to 190 volts, which shows that this test point and the power supply are working. When I test the second point, I get a similar reading of around 190 volts, which again shows that the test point and power supply are working. So, if you were receiving a 0 measurement with the cable connected, and now with it disconnected you get these measurements, that shows that the power supply is working and there is most likely a problem with the LEDs in the TV. If I test these points after disconnecting the cable and I get readings at 0, then that would show that there is a problem with the power supply board, and the power supply board can be replaced to see if that fixes the problem. Before I begin testing the points, I will plug in my TV, and either on the keypad controller or using the remote, I will power on the TV. If the voltages show as much higher than our normal numbers, then you most likely have a problem with the LED strips. Before replacing the LED strips, you will want to disconnect the LED cable and retest. If I test these points after disconnecting the cable and I get readings at 0, then that would show that there is a problem with the power supply board, and the power supply board can be replaced to see if that fixes the problem. When I retest, if I get voltages higher than normal, then it shows that the power supply board is working and the problem is most likely with the LEDs. If you decide to replace the LEDs in your TV, here are a few recommendations. It is recommended that the replacement be done by a trained professional, as during the replacement process there is a chance you could damage the TV panel. If you damage your TV panel, it is not fixable and your TV will no longer operate as normal. Always replace all of the LED strips in your TV at the same time. If one of them has shorted out, there is a high likelihood of another having the same problem. When searching for replacement LED strips, be sure to find the panel information for your TV and search using that information. Panel info can be located on a sticker on the panel or sometimes on a buffer board in the TV. LED strips are panel specific and not model specific. If you do need to replace the power supply board, be sure to find a replacement that matches your original part number on the board.